So right now, let's climb into the kitchen and make a traditional South African Denningvleis. Smaak my engel het op. Forget it.
So we continue our Freedom Day celebrations with yet another delicious, traditionally South African meal. This time from Cariema Isaac's new cookbook called My Cape Malay Kitchen, which is a tribute to her father and the memories of them cooking together. So we're joined by the author herself to tell us more about the book as she whips up her delicious Denningvleis recipe. Cariema, thank you so much for joining us on the Espresso Kitchen. Lovely to have you.
So happy to be here.
Yeah, look, I'm very happy. I scanned through your cookbook and there's some really delicious meals in there. Quickly, give us a roundup of what we can expect from the dishes in there.
I guess if you are going to get your Cape Malay on,
do you know?
There we go. Definitely a few smokies, a few, I think, breedies, which is so reminiscent of, you know, where we come from. Lots of cake recipes and definitely a few of our, I think, festival food, like Ramadan, Eid, and so on. The recipe that I'm cooking this morning is actually one that is one of the vintage Cape Malay recipes. This one is called Denningvleis, and this has actually been brought over by our forefathers who come from Malaysia. Yeah. And this recipe is very similar to the Malaysian beef rendang. The only difference is we use mutton, and obviously our forefathers were enslaved. So this recipe, I think, I would surmise that when they cooked it and they ate it, they felt a sense of, I think there was a sense of liberation, a sense of feeling like they were transported back home. So for me, this was, I think, one of the best recipes to probably depict freedom during those days.
Well, exactly. Well said. I think it's a perfect recipe to celebrate Freedom Day with.
Shall we cook?
Yeah, let's cook. I'm going to bring this over to the heat.
You do this so well.
I'll do the stirring for you. You know what? I'm your handy little helper in the kitchen today. So we got some onions going first.
That's right. So we're going to add some garlic.
All right. You can hear the sizzle starting.
Okay. You can smell the garlic, right? So we'll just add a few chili flakes and some allspice.
Right, for some biggie skop.
And bay leaves, 2 bay leaves.
These are fresh bay leaves?
Those are fresh. Okay. I love them fresh like that. So you just wait until you get a little bit of a sear on that onion. Yeah. And we're getting that slightly now. I'm going to add the meat now. Yeah, I think we can
go with the meat.
Let's just do that.
So you say this is mutton?
This is mutton. And it's all cubed and it's, you know, you've got some nice chunks in there.
So you want to brown it?
You want to brown it.
All right.
Nice browning.
Well, while our meat is browning, if you want to get your hands on this traditional South African recipe, SMS the keyword stew to 33728. That's stew to 33728, and we'll send you everything you need to know to make this truly South African meal. Okay. Look at them browning very nicely.
Love that. Okay, so we're going to add just a little bit of salt now.
That's it. Some seasoning.
I feel a song coming on. Oh, that smells divine.
Almost.
It smells divine. So
the addition of that chili as well, man, that's going to be great.
Okay, so let's just put a sprinkling of pepper in there.
All right.
Okay, that's it.
Give that a good mix through.
Perfect.
So is there still lots more to do to this dish or not really?
The thing with this dish is you actually really have to cook it slowly. So after the next few minutes, we are just going to add a cup of water and we're going to let it just, you know, gently relax and simmer away because you want the meat really soft and tender. Before we add the water, let's just add a little bit of sugar because this assists with searing the meat and browning it slightly.
All right.
I'm taking you to Dubai with me. You can come and cook in my kitchen.
Great, I'll carry your bags. Okay, cool. So this is done. So we need to finish up and move on to our final product. What is that?
So we're going to add the vinegar now. And this just gives it that slight soury taste and it, you know, kind of mixes with the sweet of the sugar. And
I'm sure it'll also help break down the meat and make it nice and tender.
So we're going to brown that slightly more.
Yeah.
And then we just add water.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Brilliant. Well, you can add the water so long. Okay, and then we can move on to our final product. So this goes on to a simmer now. We'll close the lid.
And that simmers for about 40 minutes. And we brown it slightly more towards the end. You can add some water later.
All right, cool. So here we have our finished product already. And that's been going for how long now?
That has been going for about an hour, I would say.
Okay.
But that should be tender and sweet.
Yes, the nice low heat. Beautiful. But this is what I'm cooking here. Nice and hearty meals. Now that the temperatures are getting colder, you know, you want having nice and hot in your stomach.
Absolutely.
And of course, some nice yellow rice there as well. And that is it, pretty much.
That's it.
Absolutely love it. Cariema, You have spoiled me this morning. That keyword, if you want to get your hands on this Denningvleis recipe, is stew. SMS that to 33728. That's stew to 33728. SMSs cost R1.50, and you can also go look on our website, expressoshow.com, for all of those T's and C's. Thank you very much for joining and sharing. Yeah. So if you want to get your hands on the cookbook as well, it's called My Cape Malay Kitchen. It's in all good bookstores. Go keep an eye out for some truly and proudly South African dishes. Cariema, once again, you are such a star, my love. Thank you for joining us in the Espresso Kitchen. Stew to 33728.